I'm sitting with two actors, or should I just call them artists, because that's a better word, and two directors who are possibly the coolest directors in town today. Well, they're coming up with a show called Farzi, and I watched 3 episodes of it already. I have to watch the remaining ones, and I've really enjoyed watching the 3 episodes, whatever I watched. So welcoming Raj, DK, Shahid and Raashii in conversation with me only on Bollywood Bubble. Thank you guys for doing this.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I ideally should have watched all the episodes, but then I will spend my entire day today after this to watch all the
That's
episodes.
why they sent you 3 days ago to watch.
No, मेरे को कल ही मिला है और मैंने कल ही देख लिया है 3 episode. But I want to tell you that it's a really well made film till the time I saw it.
Show.
And yeah, sorry, it's a really well made show.
Even we have been saying film half the time and correcting. Oh, guys, it's a show.
Yeah, क्या लगता है ना? See, it is 1 hour episode, but it doesn't feel like it. Does it become difficult for actors and directors when you're making a project like this to not make it look lethargic, because it can get, because attention span is going away, right? But for that 1 hour episode, I didn't realize when the 1 hour went away. It's a fact.
That's
you
great.
answered it yourself, no?
Yeah,
See?
that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But yeah, that challenge is there everywhere, right? I mean, you could make a 30-minute episode that's boring you for 15 minutes of it. You can make, sometimes you can make a 1.5 hour episode and you'll never know where the time went. That's just for the shows, but it's true even for movies. I mean, there are so many 100-minute, 90-minute movies that bore you, and there are some 2.5 hour movies that you don't want it to end.
I think we tried to make it like a feature. Every episode for us, because we're also feature filmmakers, that's what we brought in. Even the Family Man, even here.
Absolutely.
The idea is to make each episode run like a feature. If you look at it closely, there are acts to it. That's why it runs well. That's why it dips and ups and lows and all that stuff. So good.
But I've loved it. And for what I know, because I was working in this newspaper almost 6-7 years ago, where I had done this story that he was supposed to do Farzi with you as a film also. Wasn't that the plan?
Yeah.
So how did that come about? Like when you approached him, you already knew the story, if I'm not wrong.
No, I mean, I knew the concept, and they actually called me for a film, and I asked them for a show. That's actually how it happened. And when they kind of was surprised to know that I would be interested in doing like an OTT show, then they shared with me that they had taken Farzi and kind of put it into the format of a show, because it was too wide to kind of encapsulate into a movie, and they felt this was kind of coming together much better, and you could really get into the story and get into the various facets of this world of counterfeiting. So I kind of had a sense of the story, but then when I heard it, it had kind of evolved into being a slightly different kind of flow with characters whose personalities were different, and you can spend more time on certain scenarios which you have to run through in a movie, and eventually that is what shapes your experience of a complete story. And I feel, and I've always said this, that I'm very happy that Farzi was in a movie, because it very naturally has fallen into the format of a show, and it feels very right for the subject.
I also feel it, because if you would have done it as a film, maybe in a 2-hour film, you wouldn't have been able to explain how to do the notes so properly. Like, I also understood how to make a note, but of course I'm not an artist, so I can't make it, and I don't want to do it. But it revolves around counterfeiting. But there are so many little subtle subtexts that you have raised, which are societal issues, the class divide. And then there's that whole angle where women are often reduced to like, you're a certain age, so you should get married. Till the 3rd episode, whatever I've watched are these things. And these appeal to people like me. I would like to look for these in any show. When you say that there's a class divide, and when you bring that divide so beautifully on screen, there are so many people who relate to it, because majority is middle class today, and we are really complaining about our lives. There was a point of time when you started off, right?
Yes.
Everybody thinks that you come from a place of privilege, but you actually didn't. A lot of people don't realize that you started off as a newcomer almost, especially financially. When I speak to your mum, who is also my favorite, she's spoken about how you financially taken the reins of the family when you really needed to. Was it difficult at that point? Because यहाँ पे हम लोग देखते हैं कि character को गाड़ी बेचनी पड़ती है, and he wants to live his dreams. There was a point that you've also gone through those phases in life, right?
Yeah, it's so strange, I think, because you've spoken to mom. That's what I've been saying very often, that, I can understand Sunny very closely, because I understand what it feels like to not have, fund some time to sustain through the month, what it feels like to kind of go out there and want to be given an opportunity to show that you can be good at something. So I think that happened early in my life, and I've never really been somebody who speaks about it too much. I think now I've become more relaxed because it's been so long that I feel like I'm not like protective about that. Like there's a time where you feel like you're so proud that you don't want to show anybody, that I went through a rough time, But I think now with life having gone by and whatever, like you reach that place. So I can understand Sunny very closely, and I think many of us actors or people in other professions, especially in a city like Mumbai, where people come and work from scratch to make themselves somebody. They don't come with family wealth. They don't come, none of those things. Everybody is kind of here because they wanted to make something of themselves. I think everybody starts either being lower middle class or middle class. When you come here, the how expensive this city is. To get a rented house and to be able to pay your electricity bill, or to be able to sustain for a month with food and travel, and how expensive an auto rickshaw is, and things like that. I think a lot of people have been through that. A lot of us have been through that. I know a lot of boys who are out there, or girls who are out there doing really well for themselves, and they self-made people. And that's the best thing about the city. And I think that's what somewhere Farzi kind of picks up on, that strata of society in Mumbai, which is struggling to get through the day, who have big ambitions, but they don't have opportunity. And that leads to a certain frustration and angst against the system, right? And that has to be relatable. It's impossible for it not to be relatable.
Especially when you live it, right? When DK and I, as I was saying, I think we're going to reflect now. Now that you asked that question, we're all going in reflection mode. DK and I came to Mumbai, and we used to share Sita's car, 3 of us, right? And stay in her place, in the living room, couch cum sofa.
Yeah.
And we used to go in that, come to same JW to meet producers and actors and stuff, and we have to show off that we have a good car, because they would walk you out sometimes and be like, fuck, my car is like this now. What do we do? So we're like, you go, it's okay, thank you. So
the driver is taking too long, you go. So you don't call your driver until they leave, because whoever is driving,
we're going to walk across sometimes and take an auto, but you have to act like, so all that angst and all that, idea is not to be serious about it and be bitter about it.
Yeah.
That's one thing we learned earlier in life is, if you become bitter, life sucks. You rather simple truth.
This is a great tagline for a character in a show. You become bitter, life sucks.
Rather turn into humor, have a little sense of humor. Hence, even in the drama scenes with Shahid or her, even she's talking to her mom and saying, Mom, are you serious? Credit card is also a loan. And all that stuff.
I relate to that so much. I hate loans.
क्यों तेरी भी शादी का टाइम आ गया? मम्मी पीछे पड़ी है.
बिल्कुल भी नहीं. Thankfully कोई नहीं पड़ा है, but ये लोन का है कि मुझे लोन बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं है. And I don't like, I would rather pay everything. Like if I have it, I'll pay it, and I'm like, listen, लोन मत करो. मेरे को पता नहीं क्या डर लग जाता है.
I think in my family also, like I was a lower middle class. I wasn't even middle class. So उस time पे when we had a lot of loans, तो वो जो पैसे, everything you have to write down कि इतने पैसे यहाँ खर्च हुए, इतने पैसे यहाँ खर्च हुए. Even when I was in Bombay and I shared an apartment, it was a 1 BHK, and I would travel in autos all the time. All of us do. I still travel in auto sometimes. I still have that girl inside me. So for me, there was a relatable thing with Megha there, because I come from those beginnings. But a lot of us do. I don't take it as a like a bichari, that my god, it's a very chill thing. It's how you take
it. Be proud of it.
I was very happy.
Absolutely.
I was very happy even then. I'm happy now also. So there's not much of a difference, because I've never really equated happiness to money, thanks to my parents. But here Megha is constantly, of course, ये शादी का जो scene होता है कि शादी कर लो, ये चली जाएगी. Thankfully that's not there in my house. Like my parents are very supportive that way. You do it when you think it's the right time. But I could understand what Megha was going through, because a lot of my friends face that in their families.
But Raashii की शादी कर ले.
I'm waiting. I'm ready.
लड़कों की कमी है अभी industry. Everybody is married. We have realized that everybody is married. All the desirable ones are married, and or are getting married. It's like that. But I want to ask you this: that Shahid, there was a point of time where even if a film doesn't work, people have really appreciated you, and that has continued. Like, I want to bring up Jersey here, and I feel that you are fantastic. When I was planning my round table, the first person who I thought of was you, because I genuinely felt that it was such a deeply emotional performance. Today we are at a stage where commerce doesn't drive anything, and you guys are testament of that, because like you said that there would be commercial producers who would not want to put in so much money in a concept like yours because they wouldn't believe in it, right? Today, I think that has changed for all of you. The language barrier has changed. The regional barriers have changed. Today, you brought Samantha in Family Man and you've presented her to an entire country, the nation. And then now you're doing it with Vijay Sethupathi, sir, because of course, there's talent everywhere. I come from Calcutta. The Bengali film industry is not so much respected. There was a point when people wouldn't give so much respect. People are respecting cultures right now. Do you feel it's the right time to be an artist? Because all of you are in your own ways, right? Do you feel it's the right time to be an artist?
There is no better time to be an artist than this. Like right now, the last couple of years, the last few years now. But you could be a writer, you could be a director, you could be an actor, and on the technical side, you could be a AD, you could be anything.
Yeah.
You will have 10 job offers to choose from. That's how bad the situation is. Bad or good, how you look at it. In terms of requirement for content and requirement for good content and the lack of talent out there, right?
Yeah.
Because so many shows, there's an explosion, so many films, so many shows, there's so many formats, and everybody's desperate. I get so many calls every day. Not every day, like every once in a while saying, do you know a good writer for the show? I'm like, listen, if I know a good writer, I already have that person with me. Because I need a writer too. It's like that. Or do you need a good AD? Nope. I don't know anybody. It's like that.
What about you, Shahid?
My point of view is kind of like the opposite, because he is seeing it from a director's point of view. Like for me, firstly, I kind of don't agree with the fact that it's not about success. I think in the 20 years that I've been here, I know it's only about success. While being successful, if you end up also being, doing a good job as an actor or bringing some quality to it, then that's your personal journey. I don't think anybody's really interested in that. The audience is, but eventually you're in a community where you need to find work. And how will you be in the top 3 or the top 2 choices? It will be based on your popularity. Have you ever seen the most successful filmmaker in the country work with the best actor in the country? Or do they want to work with the biggest star in the country?
That's true.
It's a simple question, right? I mean, that gives you, if you're honest, that gives you clarity to know like what is it that actually floats everyone's boat. It's success, right? Because it's a very unpredictable profession. So people want to work with people who have a minimum guarantee. What's happened in the last 2 years after COVID is that it seems like nobody has a minimum guarantee.
That is true also.
Right? So that's been, I think, a very big game changer. And I think in the years to come, that will create a lot of change. And I don't know if that will be good or bad, but I know at least the way things are will kind of somewhere are already shaken up. So everybody's rethinking the way that they would do stuff. It would be very simplistic.
Yeah.
सबसे बड़ा स्टार है, सबसे पहले उसके जाओ. उसकी डेट नहीं मिली तो नेक्स्ट स्टार है, उसके पास जाओ. फिर ऐसे होता था. Who is he right for the role? अरे forget that, उम्र में ही सूट करता है कि नहीं, एज ही करेक्ट है या नहीं, पर्सनैलिटी करे, वो सब, that's not ever really a priority. So I am always looking for good content. And it's very difficult to come by good content. Like you're always meeting, like I'm doing 5-6 meetings every week apart from working. Sometimes 10 meetings in a week, and I still don't find anything exciting. So I think the challenge today is, like what he's saying in that way, completely agree with him, is a lack of quality, is a lack of caliber, is a lack of professionals who know what to do and who bring some value on the table.
True.
I think all of us are looking for that. Otherwise, I think 2022 wouldn't have been the year that it was.
Yeah.
I think there was a lack of quality, and that's where we are failing, and that's what we need to learn.
What about you, Raashii?
I think for me it's completely different in terms of, because I have worked in different places. I've worked in Telugu, I've worked in Tamil, I've worked in Malayalam, and now in Hindi. So for me, it's suddenly there's an explosion of the opportunities that are coming in. I mean, they've seen me doing what I've been doing best in South films as a commercial heroine, or however you put it. Yeah. And now here I'm getting those opportunities where I'm actually happy as an actor, because I'm getting those opportunities where I can grow as an actor. Yeah. So for me, it's a very exciting time because I'm getting all these different opportunities. And actually, aaj ki date mein bhi you can never know how, I mean, a film or an OTT show, how it's. I don't think it's still just content still. I don't think that's true, because there are films that are successful that are necessarily not, they don't really have great content. So right now I think we are all confused. There's a time we're all confused, which is still trying to figure out, what to do. But as an actor, all the least we need to do is be happy with the content that we have and give it our all. Yeah.
Saj?
Yeah, like I said, this is a golden age for creation, for filmmakers and everybody for that matter. Quality. is the one that suffers when there is demand is so high. Everybody can get a job and 10 jobs. The quality suffers because where is it? Who's putting in the effort? Who's writing it? Who's sitting in? If you have to do 5 things at a time, or like you have to do half and half, and you're running from pillar to post, where maybe you can still write it, but otherwise, where is the quality? We don't have the history of so much writing in that sense. We just started 3 years into this long format and all that. So yeah, the one who puts in more effort, hard work at this point will shine.
You've always said, Shahid, that in your projects, like before when you get a script, Mira has a take on all the scripts, and you usually select the ones which she also likes. What was her take on Farzi?
So I never said that. I don't know where you're paraphrasing.
But
my wife doesn't sit in my narrations, or I don't know where this is. No, but I.
Oh really? That day, where was she sitting?
We've never met her, by the way.
We never met her except later on socially, but yeah.
No, not narrations. I meant like when he's got.
He goes home and
But it can be misconstrued, na, the way you're saying it. So people will be अभी शायद को अच्छी लगी script ठीक है अभी मीरा को भी अच्छी लगनी पड़ेगी. लोगों को ऐसे नहीं लगना चाहिए. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. No, but so basically what I was talking about then was because Mira was much younger and she comes from Delhi. I think the question was like, does she understand your world? Do you guys share things with each other? So in that context, I always share everything with Mira. Like I guess every couple does that. You spend that little time, or you always crave that little time in a day or sometimes in a week, where you can just sit down and tell each other what's going on.
Yeah.
Because when two people are busy doing their own thing, there's the sharing reduces, and when you're not sharing enough, you lose understanding of each other's scenarios. I've always felt that if you can regularly stay connected with each other, it allows the other person an insight into what you're dealing with, which they might not get, right? So that in that way, I share everything with Mira. Yeah.
Finally, I remember doing an interview for the Family Man 2 2 years ago, right here, in this same hotel, and I had asked Samantha, who is she most excited to watch?
It was Samantha and Manoj sir. I remember seeing
and
that
both
interview.
of them actually said that they're excited to watch you. So because now you're working with her, have you shown her the show and what's her take on it? And now that you're doing a show with her, she's also gone through a lot and she's braved it all through. When I look at her, I just take inspiration also personally because of reasons.
You said that.
Yeah.
Autoimmune. Yeah, she fought a lot and she's shooting with us finally. I didn't know that both of them picked Shahid, and that's why probably they cast it.
Yeah,
they cast him for us.
Right?
They did. They did.
We did show.
Because we were not even thinking of doing
it was just the two of them together. But I think this was after they already knew.
This was announced.
Family Man 2, I think. So I think when you guys were
Family Man
promoting,
2,
we had already
yes.
started
Yes,
shooting.
yes.
So they were aware that we are collaborating. So I think they were talking in
Right.
context of that they want to see us kind of collaborate.
But yeah, no, we showed her the trailer before it released in the office when we were reading Citadel and all that. And specific question, specific answer. She said like, Shahid is so good, such a good actor, and I think that this show has a range for him. That's what I'm gauging from this. And yeah, those were the exact words saying that
She hasn't seen the show yet because we're waiting for the release to see with everybody else. But yeah.
No, and I remember Manoj sir said, मेरी शिकायत है शायद से कि वो कम अच्छे परफॉर्मेंस देता है उसको और ऐसे करने चाहिए तो he's somebody I think he's just the best of the best, right? So when you hear that, it sits with you. So like even though it happened 2 years back, that line has sat with me always. So
there is a across the board thing about Shahid in general. Whenever his name comes up and people say like, oh my God, such a powerful actor.
Yeah.
And like he's lamenting on the lack of great scripts that inspire him. I wish he gets more.
I wish there's one with Samantha also. I would love to see you with Samantha now
His
that you
pairing is casting everything happening.
Please make it your manifesting. But all the best for the show. And I watched 3 episodes. I'm going to watch and call all of you and message you and tell you what I thought of it. 3 episodes are fantastic.
Thank you.
And I feel that today you guys have actually become the face of new age filmmaking where you make everything look so cool. And you are really good. I've watched you and I relate to a lot of things, like I said. And honestly, again, you will feel that I'm making you feel old. No, but I have grown up watching you and I just don't know. There's a different connect where I feel like you really are good in everything that you do. Like you said, that you are a powerful actor. So keep doing more of these. And we'll see you again very, very soon, maybe for a success interview.
Thank you.